So Notre Dame has its new defensive coordinator, and I think Chris Ash is a rock solid hire, and I will explain why I like it later. First, though, I'm going to explain that he and Marcus Freeman are facing an uphill battle to repeat their playoff appearance in 2025. So Notre Dame is, of course, the unicorn of college football. They don't have a conference. They have their own media rights deal. Nobody else has that, but they are treated as a Power 4 team, understandably. They play a Power 4 caliber schedule, but they don't have a conference championship game. So there's no automatic berth. I think Notre Dame is someone who you should look at with their FanDuel win total of 10.5 and say, hammer the under here. Because remember, they went 11-1 this past season with that one loss being to Northern Illinois. Inexplicably, they were 28.5-point favorites in that game. Here's a list of games that Notre Dame plays next season. They open at Miami. They're a 2.5-point favorite. That's not going to be easy. Carson Beck's the quarterback on the other side, and it's a road trip. Now, this year, I thought they would go to Texas A&M and win, and they did. That was going to a coach who was coaching his first game with a new school. Mario Cristobal's not doing that, whatever you may think of him as a college football coach. So they have to go at Miami on August 31st. Then on September 13th, speaking of the Aggies, who might have revenge on their minds, they go to South Bend on September 13th. Notre Dame's at home off a bye. I might like their chances there. They go at Arkansas on September 27th. Why don't you ask Tennessee how easy it is to go to Fayetteville and just walk out a winner? They host Boise State on October 4th. Then they play USC on October 18th. I'm not saying that USC is great. I'm just saying they're not terrible. They're just not as good as they should be. Doesn't mean they aren't capable. USC went 7-6 this past year. A lot of programs would love to go 7-6. A lot of them. They go at Pitt on November 15th, and they host Syracuse November 22nd. Without Kyle McCord, I don't know if Syracuse is as tough as it was this past year. But that is not the same caliber of schedule that Notre Dame had last year. Now, on paper, their schedule looked a certain way because Florida State was a part of it, and that was a big game. And then, boom, Florida State's probably the worst Power 4 team in all of college football this past season. They were truly, truly terrible. But this is not a schedule that lines up as favorably. But not being in a Power 4 conference and having, games against service academies on there, do you get the benefit of the doubt at 10-2? Or does 10-2 put you in that 9-3 SEC category? You have a chance, you're in the discussion, you're in the running, but you're not exactly a lock over here. That might depend on who the wins are against and who the losses are against. Because if they lose to Texas A&M and Miami, but then win the rest of their games, they'll have 2 losses early, so they'll have to climb back into everyone's good graces, and they'll certainly have it after being the national runners-up this past year, something they have earned, by the way, and one of the reasons I think college football is great, and I am not opposed at all to preseason rankings, because it's based on what you did the prior year and in the offseason. I want those things to matter. That's always something that's made college football unique. I don't think it should go away. But if Notre Dame were to lose to Miami and Texas A&M, who's their best win going to end up being? Is Arkansas going to have an 8-9 win season? Is USC going to finally pop under Lincoln Riley after the first year when they won 11 games? And since then, it has been taking a step back and taking another step back. Is Pitt going to be a great win? Is Syracuse? That suddenly doesn't look like a resume that locks you into the playoff. You might need some help at that point in time. So that's the challenge that awaits Chris Ash. But I do like this hire a lot for Marcus Freeman. So Al Golden leaves to go be the defense coordinator for the Bengals. You don't sit around and feel sorry for yourself. You say, all right, NFL, you're taking one of our guys. I'm taking one of your guys. Chris Ash is a veteran defensive coordinator. 24 years he has spent as a college coach. This is his 5th stint as a Power 4 defensive coordinator. And he was just in the NFL for the last 4 seasons with a couple of different teams. So you give me a guy that's got plenty of experience, has been to the NFL where the coaching is on average at a higher level than what you have in college, who's got plenty of experience in the college game and as a college coach. He was a part of a national championship team back in 2014 with, wait for it, Ohio State. And he was also at Wisconsin, where he coordinated 2 top 15 defenses. He's going to have a core of guys returning like Drake Bowen, Aiden Schuler, and Leonard Moore as kind of a core of defensive players. Notre Dame has recruited well over the last couple of cycles. I don't expect a lack of talent is going to be the issue. I also don't expect there's going to be a lack of experience here from the coaching staff or from the roster for Notre Dame. So the move I liken this to was Ryan Day going out and getting Jim Knowles, because there's always a lot of energy around hiring a young guy. There's always an exuberance that those guys bring to the table, whereas the old grizzly veterans, we do it this way, and I'm just going to show up and coach ball. You know who just had 2 of those grizzly show up and coach ball guys on his coaching staff as a relatively younger dude in college football? Ryan Day. Ryan Day, who has Brian Hartline on staff as probably the best recruiter outside of maybe, I think Brian Hartline is probably the best recruiter on Ohio State staff, and then Ryan Day. Well, guess what? Marcus Freeman is the young guy who brings the energy, who brings the juice, and now he's going to get chiseled veteran and defensive coordinator. I think that's a good move and reminds me of Ryan Day going out to get Jim Knowles. Give me a guy that's been around the block, that knows what he's doing. There's no mystery, no surprises. I don't need you to be a dynamite recruiter. Just show up, coach ball, and give me the right defensive play calls when I need the most in the national championship hunt. So I think Notre Dame's capable of being there. I just think the program has a stronger trajectory than maybe the 2025 season, although that's just because there's a question at quarterback. I don't really have a great feel. I don't know that anybody does about what Notre Dame is doing at quarterback, or how confident they are that the quarterback of the future, who can just be an absolute star, is on that roster. Man, I saw the backup throw a couple passes in the playoff, but I mean, is that indicative of larger success to come? I don't know. However, here's why the program's in a strong state. There's a Michigan feel to this. They are not dependent on the quarterback position. You like to see the quarterback be able to deliver in big moments, because what happened in the national title game when the run game wasn't there literally at all? Jeremiah Love wasn't healthy. Ohio State's defense is hard to run on. Ask Oregon. They finished with minus rushing yards. The Ducks did, by the way, in the Rose Bowl. Riley Leonard suddenly had to make some throws. That's the big wet blanket that you can throw on a grease fire of an offense is, oh, nope, quarterback can just make throws or just make plays or just bail us out. So they needed Riley Leonard a lot. How do you replace that sort of guy? Well, I expect them to have a really good defense. They should have a great run game behind a veteran and newly healthy again offensive line. I know they've had some transfers in there. I'm telling you, they're not worried about it. That offensive line is going to be great. Jeremiah Love is healthy and was one of the best running backs in college football when he is at full strength. So I expect Notre Dame to be good, but getting to the playoff, winning 11 or 12 games next year, I don't think that is where the Irish are going to be from a floor standpoint. I could see them going 9-3 or even 8-4 next year. How about that? Let me know your thoughts below.